Hey guys, Micah from blackbearcustomkydex. I've got a nice versatile system to show you today. This one is for a gentleman named Holden who sent me his two knives. These are Bradford Guardian 5.5 and G3 Warney or Guardian 3 Warncliffe style blade. Both of these are fantastic knives. I believe I own a 6, and I own not the Warney, but the other two, the sheep's foot and the drop point versions of the Guardian 3. So both of these are kind of right up my alley in terms of my own knife taste. So I had a lot of fun handling these and making some sheaths for them. The colors that you're looking at here are black basket weave for all the accessories and attachments. And then the knives, or the sheaths themselves rather, are black Kydex wrapped in leather. And the leather is manually distressed and dyed dark brown. I've also put some integral edge stitching in them. It means that goes all the way through the leather and the Kydex. So you still have a nice seamless edge all the way around, and the stitching going through there for more of an aesthetic effect than anything. Now the distressing of the leather, that's a really fun experiment to do if you guys are into leather work at all. You can do it by just kind of, wringing and twisting and creasing and warping your leather. But how I did it to give it a more permanent effect and to also harden the leather a little bit was use warm water to soak them just enough to make them pliable, and then do all the distressing, air dry it, and then start working it, bonding it to the Kydex. That does make it much more difficult to work with, but it does make the leather harder, and it makes it keep the creases and wrinkles a little more permanently, probably because it's harder. So I really like the look and feel of this a lot, and I hope you guys enjoy this too. But let me know in the comment section down below what you think. The last time I did a distressed leather video, started a kind of thread in the comments about how you should have to earn the wear on your leather rather than having it pre-worn for you, kind of like, jeans that are, you buy them pre-worn from Abercrombie or whoever. And to some degree I do agree with that. However, with leather over Kydex, you're never actually going to get this look because the leather is bonded to the Kydex, so it's very rigid, and it's never going to have the chance to crinkle and wrinkle on you to give it this look. So this aesthetic effect is unique to pre-distressing the leather prior to bonding it to Kydex. There's no way to get it to do that after you've bonded it. So in short, I'm saying I really like this look. I like the process, and I have no qualms with ordering it like that. It's just an aesthetic effect. But I'd love your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, so let's get into all the components here. This looks pretty convoluted, I'm sure, and it is. It's very difficult to build, and it's very difficult to swap components out, which may be something that Holden's going to end up doing, because originally he ordered it for a breakaway piggyback system with my universal tech lock adapter, which is what you're looking at here. And so the premise is that this would be mounted to the larger knife, larger sheath, and there'd be a tech lock on the back of the smaller sheath, and you can kind of slot it into place. This is also my updated, newer style of tech lock adapter, where it's got a mag retention device built in, so you can actually tighten or loosen this set screw. And what it does is it pushes out, you can't really see it, but in there's a component that will, as you tighten that screw down, it'll kind of bring a finger out like this and put pressure on the side of the tech lock, giving it a sturdy pinch and increasing the retention inside this holder. So it's a really cool thing. It's the most current universal tech lock adapter, or UTA, that I offer, and I think it's kind of I think it's the bee's knees, if we're being honest. I really like it. So I built this system in mind, or with this in mind, had it all assembled, sent Holden a video, and then he reminded me that he had switched. He had switched, and it was my fault that I didn't look at my notes carefully enough, but he'd switched from this setup to this setup. So I had to take it all apart, reconfigure it, build this carry setup, and get it underway again. So the difference is this is an ulti-clip. How I decided to move forward with it was to build a plate that was the holder for the arrowhead as well as the mounting attachment for the ulti-clip. Now this also then creates the mystery issue of, well, how am I going to marry these two pieces together? And what I decided to do was create a holder that's offset, So you can see as you're looking down that there's a little S-curve built into the adapter, and there's obviously a slot here for the male side of this adapter to plug into. That allows the two pieces to join up without creating any kind of kink or alignment as far as the knives are concerned. So how you do it is you just get that male piece lined up with the slot and you drive it home. It's very easy to do, and it locks these pieces together in place. Now the retention on it is very good. Let me hold it from back here so you know I'm not messing around. I'm shaking those pretty hard, and it's not coming loose. The knives aren't popping out. So you have a free and clear, good connection on that. Now you can also just grip and rip your warnie without having the adapter let go of the piggyback. That's important to me because it means that you've got access to your knife, whether you use the thumb ramp or just grip it and rip it. You can get your knife out of there without worry of accidentally separating your two sheaths. When you do want to separate, I recommend grabbing the bottom of your warning sheath and just sort of backing it up like this. It's not terribly difficult to do. It's very smooth. There's just enough pressure on there to keep it held in place. So that's how you do that. Now the reason why you might want a breakaway piggyback instead of a fixed piggyback is so that you can have your two sheaths obviously together with you for whatever excursion, camping most likely. But if you do want to carry this as just an EDC sheath, you can do that. If you just want to carry the one survival style knife out there, you can do that. It just gives you more options to play with. And for that matter, you can also elect to get multiple carry setups for either or both knives. In this case, we just have one. We got the ulti-clip for this one, and we have a tech lock on a pivot plate for the 5.5. The pivot plate allows you to rotate your tech lock 90 degrees without the use of any tools. So it's very convenient, very rugged, very durable, and obviously modular. So you can go from a vertical position to something like a cross draw on your left hip to a straight up scout style carry. Obviously, if you're doing scout style in the smaller your back, this would then become a left-handed system for that position. So it's a really cool setup. I'm really happy with how this came out, but I would love your thoughts about this design in the comments down below. Now for the accessories here, we have an Olight Terran flashlight. It's a nice little angle head flashlight. It's a bi-directional holder, so you can insert this flashlight from either side. It doesn't matter. It's got the same retention on both sides. Personally, I like the head of the flashlight on the handle side of the sheath because the angle of the sheath will make it a little bit more difficult to access the light later on. This is just a cleaner draw, but it is possible from both sides, so be aware of that. Same thing goes for the Exotac Nano Striker XL. This is a nice waterproof ferro rod. It's got a striker in one end and a ferro rod in the other, both inside watertight capsules. But it is a bi-directional holder there, and it doesn't matter which direction the item is in. It can go either way, facing either direction. So it's good to go. Lastly, we have an ESEE AH1 Arrowhead. Now this guy, since I had originally set the sheath up for the tech lock adapter, I did not space or plan appropriately for the space to get the arrowhead onto this particular configuration. Previously, when there was nothing else on the face of the small sheath, I actually had just this kind of little square holder sitting over like this, so it's very easy, free and clear to grab the tip of that arrowhead and pull it out. Now with this, there is a little compromise of ease of access, but as I see it, whoops, this is not, it's not super difficult to get at. It's a little bit of a pain, but it's not the kind of tool that you're going to be reaching for in that dire emergency situation. You might have an emergency situation where you need to create an arrow or a small spear or something, but obviously it's not the tool that you're going to reach to snatch out to save your life in that, blink of an eye scenario. You're going to go for one of your knives. So I don't see an issue with the ease of access being a little bit compromised here, but how I'm getting this out of here is I'm just putting my thumb behind the ulti clip, and then I'm gripping this with either my finger, my index or middle finger, maybe both, and you just kind of wiggle it as you pull it free. You'll feel it reach a point where it kind of breaks the retention. I'm trying to do it slowly. Yeah, so I've just got it to break the retention, and from there you can get it out pretty easily. So there you go. Going back in, obviously you're just going to push that in. It's got a nice little click in place. The retention on this, I don't know how or why, but it is ever so slightly different depending on whether or not you have the laser engraving facing up or down. I like the retention a little better facing up. It's actually lighter retention, but that makes it a little bit easier to get at with this weird ease of access compromise that we've got going on. So bear that in mind. All right, last thing to talk about. So right before I started recording this video, Holden sent me a text and said, hey, I've been thinking maybe I'd just buy this adapter off you since you built it anyway, which we may do. I haven't heard back from him just yet, but I sent him this message, and I want to make this clear for any of you guys out there who are thinking about buying this kind of setup. Especially if you want to have multiple carry setups, multiple breakaway adapters, things like that. I'm happy to do that for you, but be aware with any system this small, there's kind of an inevitability of overlap of components, and that makes it extraordinarily difficult to swap things out. So removing this adapter, all of the accessories, and then putting it back together with this and with the tech lock on the back here might sound really straightforward, but it's actually very difficult to, it's a jigsaw puzzle of partially getting your hardware set for component 1 while you get component 2 lined up, and then setting, 2 of 3 screws for component 2, and then you get a fixed component 1 and get component 3 lined up. It's a lot of that kind of thing. So I just want you to be aware so you make an informed decision that it's not going to be easy to switch it out. I would budget like 30 to 45 minutes to make that transition. So that having been said, I do think it's a lot of fun to have the option. And if you don't mind taking the time to switch it over, then absolutely go nuts. This is a really cool thing. So, all right, guys, that's all I've got for you. I'd love your thoughts in the comments down below on the knives, on all the other gear represented here. Let me know what you think of these brands. Let me know what you think of these specific models, and what would you choose instead of any of these to bring out in your survival system. Let me know what you think of the design. Let me know what you think of this breakaway adapter. This is the first of its kind. I've done some similar things, but not anything quite like this with the offset S-curve and all that, but I think it came out really nice. I'm really pleased with how this came out. Holden, I hope you are pleased with this. And I'll give you one more thing. The draw on the knives, just crisp, buttery smooth. I really couldn't be happier with both of these. They're both ballistic one-handed draws. So, all right, there we go. Okay, guys, like, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks so much for tuning in, and of course, stick around for the next one. God bless.